The twin sons of Darak Station beat down on the dusty metal floors of the slave market. People from different planets shouted prices, pointed at cages, and bargained for living beings like they were tools. The smell of oil, sweat, and heat filled the air. In the middle of it all walked a young human man named Cole. He was a traveler, a pilot, and someone who didn't like crowds. But today, he had a reason to walk through them. Cole passed rows of cages filled with aliens. Some looked strong, some looked frightened. All looked lost. Then he stopped. In the last cage, pushed back into a corner, was a girl. She was small, thin, and her blue-gray skin was covered in dirt. Her hair looked like it hadn't been cleaned in months. Her clothes were torn, and she didn't move when Cole walked near her. But her eyes were wide open. Quiet, watching, full of sadness, and something more. "What about this one?" Cole asked the alien trader standing near the cage. The trader laughed loudly. "That one? Filthy thing. Useless, can't even talk. Too dirty to keep. You want her? Take her. Free." "Free?" Cole raised a brow. "No one wants trash," the trader said, spitting on the ground. "She's been here for weeks, won't even cry anymore. Maybe she doesn't understand pain." Cole looked at her again. The girl didn't beg, didn't move, didn't even seem scared. But her hands were clenched into fists, and her eyes were still locked on his face. Cole knelt in front of the cage. "What's your name?" No answer. "Can you hear me?" Still no answer, just the tiniest flicker in her gaze. "I'm Cole. I have a ship. I'm not here to hurt you." The girl's mouth opened barely, but no sound came out. The trader shrugged. "See? She's broken." Cole stood up. "Open the cage." The trader blinked. "You're serious?" "I'm serious." The cage clicked open. The girl didn't move. So Cole stepped inside. Slowly, carefully, he reached out his hand. She flinched. He stopped. "I'm not going to touch you unless you say it's okay." Seconds passed. Then her fingers moved only a little. She lifted her hand and gently placed it in his. Her hand was cold. Too cold. He helped her to her feet. She stumbled. Her knees shook. But she didn't let go of his hand. As Cole guided her through the crowd, people stared. Some laughed. Some whispered. One woman said loudly, "Why would a human take a thing like that?" Cole didn't answer. He didn't need to. Back on his ship, Cole helped her sit on a chair and gave her clean water. She drank slowly, like she didn't trust it. "What's your name?" he asked again. She looked away, silent. "Okay," Cole said softly. "You don't have to talk, not yet. You're safe here, you can rest." He showed her the sleeping quarters and left the door open so she wouldn't feel trapped. Then he made her some warm food, simple earth stew, and placed it outside the room. She didn't eat it right away. But when he came back later, the bowl was empty. That night, Cole sat in the pilot's seat staring at the stars. He didn't know where she came from or what she had been through. But he knew one thing for sure. She wasn't trash. She wasn't broken. She was alive, and that meant she had a chance. The next morning, Cole found the girl sitting quietly on the floor of the ship's hallway. Her knees were pulled to her chest and her eyes were open, watching everything. She hadn't run. She hadn't screamed. She hadn't spoken either. Cole crouched near her and offered a warm drink. "Morning," he said with a smile. "You slept here all night?" She nodded slowly. "You could have used the bed," he added. "Or the chair." She lowered her eyes. No reply. Still silent. Cole didn't push her. "That's okay. Take your time." He pointed to the nearby washroom. "There's clean water in there. Soap too, you don't have to, but if you want to feel better, maybe a bath will help." The girl didn't move at first, but then she stood. Quiet, careful steps. She walked to the door, paused, then looked back at him. Cole turned around to face the opposite wall. "Go ahead. I won't look." The door closed behind her. It took a long time. Cole waited patiently outside. He didn't knock, didn't call her, just sat and kept an ear open. The sound of running water gave him hope. When she finally came out, he barely recognized her. The dirt was gone. Her blue-gray skin was smooth now. Faint silver markings, natural ones, ran down the sides of her neck and arms like ancient art. Her hair was long and dark, falling gently around her shoulders. Her eyes, once hidden behind grime, were bright amber. She wore the clean clothes Cole had left in the room, a simple shirt and soft pants. They were a bit big on her, but they were clean. "You look different," Cole said kindly. In a good way. She blinked at him, unsure what to say. "Still no name?" She shook her head slowly. "That's all right." He pointed to his chest. "Cole." After a few seconds, she pointed to herself. Lyra." His eyes lit up. "Lyra. That's a beautiful name." She looked down, shy, but there was a small curve at the corner of her lips. It was the beginning of a smile. Over the next few days, Lyra began to explore the ship. She stayed silent most of the time, but listened carefully. Cole would explain small things, how the food printer worked, where extra blankets were, how to call him from the console. One evening, Cole sat at the table fixing a broken communicator. Lyra walked up and pointed at a tool he was using wrong. Then she quietly took the part and adjusted it with ease. "You're good at this," Cole said, impressed. She nodded. "My people fixed things before." "Before the cage?" Lyra froze for a moment. Then she gave a small nod. Cole didn't ask more. He didn't need to. That night she finally asked him something. "Why? Take me." Her voice was soft, unsure, like she hadn't spoken for years. Cole leaned back. "Because I saw someone worth saving." She looked confused. "I was trash." "No," Cole said firmly. "They made you feel that way, but they were wrong." Lyra stared at him, then looked at her hands. "I don't feel like a person." Cole reached across the table, not touching her, just placing his hand close. "You are a person, Lyra. You matter, and you're not alone anymore." Her eyes grew wet, and for the first time, a tear ran down her cheek. Later that night, Cole checked the ship's travel path. They were heading to a small station in neutral space. Safe enough, quiet, a good place for someone to heal. Lyra stood behind him. "Will you leave me there?" He turned in his chair. "Do you want to be left?" She shook her head. "Then no," he said simply. "You can stay as long as you like." Lyra didn't say anything, but she sat beside him and watched the stars on the screen. They stayed that way for a long time. Silent, peaceful, not strangers anymore, not cage and owner, just two souls. Finally free. The neutral space station called Tyrian Port floated peacefully above a quiet moon. It wasn't very large, but it had what most travelers needed: repair docks, small homes, food markets, and peace. Cole's ship landed without trouble. After days in space, both he and Lyra needed a break from the metal walls of the craft. Cole helped Lyra down the ramp. She wore a clean jacket now, her hair tied back loosely. She didn't look like the dirty, forgotten girl in the cage anymore. But even as she stepped onto the station platform, people stared. Some aliens looked confused. Others frowned. And a few whispered loud enough for Lyra to hear. "Is that the stray human brought with him? She's one of those low-born types. Unclean. Why would a human keep something like that?" Lyra slowed her steps. Her head lowered. The joy in her eyes faded. Cole noticed immediately. "Ignore them," he said. "They don't know you." She didn't speak, but her shoulders were tense. The voices followed them into the station's common hall. Cole booked a small room in the living quarters. It had 2 beds, warm lighting, and a small cooking area. Lyra sat on the edge of the bed, silent. Cole placed a food tray in front of her, but she didn't eat. After a long moment, she spoke. They're right. No, they're not. Cole replied gently. I don't belong here. He sat across from her. Lyra, you've been through pain, but that doesn't mean you don't belong. You're free now. You can choose your place. She looked at her hands. They look at me like I'm less than nothing. He leaned forward. Do I look at you that way? Her eyes met his. Slowly, she shook her head, then let them talk. Their voices don't decide who you are. A quiet moment passed. Then Lyra whispered, Thank you. For choosing me. Cole smiled. No thanks. Needed. I just did what anyone should have done. Lyra gave him a small, true smile in return. Later that evening, Cole left to pick up supplies. Lyra stayed behind. She walked around the quiet room, touching things gently. A blanket, a light switch, the edge of the table. Everything here was clean, soft, safe. She went to the mirror. Her reflection stared back at her. She still had the faint silver lines down her skin, marks of her people, once a proud race of artists and engineers. Her kind had not been warriors, and when war came, they were the first to fall. Now, only she remained. A knock on the door broke her thoughts. She opened it slowly. A tall alien woman stood outside, one of the station's staff. She wrinkled her nose. You shouldn't be here alone. Lyra frowned softly. Why? You're one of them. Not proper. You shouldn't share quarters with a human. It's not decent. Before Lyra could reply, Cole appeared behind the woman, holding bags. Is there a problem? He asked. The woman looked embarrassed and stepped back. No. Just offering advice. Cole gave a short nod. Advice not needed. She's with me. He stepped inside and closed the door. That night, they sat by the small window, watching lights move through the black sky. Lyra finally asked, Why do they hate people? Like me? Cole thought for a moment. Because they're afraid. And when people are afraid, they find someone smaller to blame. Lyra leaned her head against the wall. My people never fought back. Maybe we should have. Cole looked at her. You fought, Lyra. You survived. That's a kind of strength, too. She closed her eyes. Do you think I'll ever be seen as normal? Cole paused, then answered, No. I don't think you're normal, Lyra. I think you're extraordinary, and I hope you never stop being that. She opened her eyes. A small warmth spread through her chest. For the first time, she didn't feel ashamed of who she was, not anymore. The peaceful life at Tyrian Port did not last long. One afternoon, a loud alarm echoed through the station halls. Red lights flashed everywhere. Cole and Lyra were in their small room when the loudspeaker crackled. Warning! Raiders approaching. All personnel, prepare for evacuation. Cole's face tightened. He moved quickly to the door, checking the hallway. People were rushing, pushing, and shouting. Fear filled the air. Lyra grabbed Cole's arm. What is happening? Raiders, Cole said simply. They come to take what they want, or burn what they cannot have. Lyra's eyes widened. We must leave. No, Cole said firmly. We stay together. We help others. He grabbed a small emergency pack and motioned for her to follow. Outside, chaos was everywhere. The raiders were already landing in ships shaped like dark claws. They were armed and dangerous. The station's few guards tried to fight back, but they were outnumbered. Cole moved quickly, guiding Lyra through twisting corridors. Smoke started to fill the air. People were running, some screaming. Lyra kept close to Cole, her heart pounding. Suddenly, a loud crash. Part of the ceiling fell near a group of children trapped behind broken metal bars. Help them! Cole shouted. Lyra looked at the collapsed ceiling and felt a strange calm rise inside her. I will, she said. Cole hesitated. Be careful. Without waiting, Lyra rushed toward the children. She used her hands and feet, moving rocks and metal. Her small size helped her squeeze into tight spaces. She pulled the first child free. The boy looked scared but held onto her tightly. The second child was stuck, but Lyra found a metal beam and used it to lift the debris just enough to free the girl. Cole watched, amazed. The girl who was once too dirty to keep was now a hero. After freeing the children, Lyra helped guide them to safety. Cole covered their backs, fighting off raiders who came close. The station's fire alarm screamed, and smoke thickened. People were coughing, choking. Lyra felt a sharp pain in her chest but ignored it. She was focused on saving lives. When they reached the evacuation pods, Cole turned to her. "You saved lives today, Lyra. You were brave." She shook her head, breathing hard. "I just did what I could." Cole smiled. "No, you did more than that." Later, in the station's medical bay, Lyra rested on a cot. Her chest still hurt, but she refused to complain. Several injured people lay nearby. Some of the station's doctors nodded respectfully when they saw her. One older man approached. "You're not from here, are you?" "No," Lyra said softly. "But you fought like a warrior," he said. "You saved children." Lyra looked down, embarrassed. The man smiled kindly. "You're more than they said you were." That night, back in their room, Lyra sat quietly. Cole prepared food, but she was lost in thought. "Why did you risk yourself for them?" Cole asked gently. She looked up. "Because they were afraid. Like I was. I did not want anyone to feel alone." Cole nodded. "That's who you really are." Her eyes filled with tears. "I never believed I could be useful, more strong." "You are both," Cole said. "You just needed a chance." She reached for his hand, this time without hesitation. "Thank you for giving me that chance." The raid was over. The station was damaged but alive. People whispered about the strange girl who saved lives. Some even said she was a sign of hope. Cole and Lyra prepared to leave Tyrian Port soon. But something had changed. Where others had seen only dirty and weak, now they saw courage and heart. And Lyra began to see herself the same way. The raid on Tyrian Port was over, but its effects were still clear. Walls were scorched, equipment broken, and the people who lived there were tired and scared. Cole and Lyra spent the next days helping with repairs and caring for those hurt in the attack. One morning, Cole received a message from the Galactic Command. It was a formal request for him to report to their station nearby. He read it twice before turning to Lyra. "They want to see me," he said. "Something about bringing you here." Lyra's face tightened. "Why?" Cole shrugged. "Probably questions. They don't like unknown things." Lyra nodded silently. "I will come with you." The Galactic Command Station was larger and more imposing than Tyrian Port. Its walls were cold metal, its halls echoing with quiet steps and serious faces. Cole and Lyra entered together. People turned to look at the alien girl walking beside, the human man. A guard led them to a bright room with a long table. 3 officials sat waiting. Their eyes were sharp and their voices firm. "Captain Cole," the lead official said, "you brought aboard an alien of unknown origin. Why?" Cole looked at Lyra, then back at the officials. "Because she was in danger. Because she is alive." The second official frowned. "She is an unregistered alien. Could be a spy. A threat." Lyra's heart beat fast. She looked down. Cole stood up. "Lyra is not a threat. She saved lives during the raid on Tyrian Port. She is my partner." The officials exchanged looks. The third one spoke. "Partner?" "Yes," Cole said. "She is more than just someone I rescued. She is family." After the meeting, Cole and Lyra were left alone in the waiting area. Lyra's voice was quiet but steady. "Do they always question you like this?" Cole shook his head. "No, but when it comes to things they don't understand, yes." She looked at him, eyes searching. "If I was not born like you, would you still care?" Cole smiled gently. "I didn't choose you because you are like me. I chose you because you are brave, kind, and strong. You matter." Tears filled Lyra's eyes. I never thought anyone could say that to me. You deserve to hear it every day. Later, in their ship, Lyra sat by the window, watching stars pass by. She thought about what the officials said. She felt strange, like she was both wanted and unwanted. Cole came beside her. We will keep moving forward. No one else can decide you. Our value. She turned to him. I want to be more than a burden. You are not a burden, Cole said firmly. You are a gift. Lyra smiled softly. I want to learn, to help, to live. And I will help you, Cole promised. We are partners. She reached for his hand again, her touch steady and sure. The days that followed were filled with small lessons. Cole taught Lyra about Earth and its many people. Lyra shared stories of her people's old songs and crafts. They built a quiet life together amid the stars. But a question remained in Lyra's heart. Would others ever accept her? Or would she always be seen as too dirty to keep? Cole's answer was clear. I see you, and that is all that matters. The Galactic Council Chamber was a large room with tall ceilings and walls covered in symbols from many worlds. Delegates from dozens of planets gathered in their seats. The air was tense. Today a decision had to be made about a new discovery, a signal that only Lyra could help decode. Cole and Lyra entered the chamber together. The crowd's eyes fell on Lyra. Some faces showed curiosity, others doubt, and a few were openly hostile. The council leader, a tall alien with golden eyes, spoke first. We have called this meeting to hear the one who found the ancient signal. Lyra, step forward. Lyra's heart beat fast, but she walked to the center. She looked at the crowd and spoke in a clear voice. I am Lyra, last of my people. I decoded the signal that warned of a danger to many. Some delegates whispered. One woman muttered, What value has a slave girl? Cole stepped beside Lyra. She is not a slave. She is a hero. A council member sneered. You defend her because you claim her as your mate. Cole's eyes flashed. Yes, I do. And she is no one's slave. She is a symbol of hope and courage. If you cannot see that, you fail your duty. The room grew silent. Lyra continued. The signal speaks of a threat coming from the dark space beyond. Only united can we stop it. The council listened. Slowly, respect began to replace doubt. When Lyra finished, the leader said, Cole, do you stand by your words? Cole nodded firmly. Always. The leader smiled slightly. Then we accept Lyra as a free citizen and partner of Captain Cole. Her voice will be heard. Applause filled the room. Lyra looked at Cole, tears of joy shining in her eyes. For the first time, she felt truly seen. After the meeting, many council members approached Lyra with kindness. Some asked about her people. Others asked for her help in understanding old knowledge. Cole held her hand proudly. See? They respect you now. Lyra smiled. Because you believed in me? No, Cole said softly. Because you never gave up. That night in their room, Lyra rested against Cole. Do you think I will ever be truly accepted everywhere? Cole kissed her forehead. Maybe not everywhere, but where it matters most, you are loved and respected. She smiled. Because of you. Because of you too. The ship hummed softly as it floated away from the Galactic Council station. Cole stood at the window, watching the stars streak past. Lyra stood beside him, dressed in the traditional robes of her people. The silver lines on her skin shone faintly under the soft light. She looked different now. No longer the too dirty to keep girl in the cage, but a proud woman, a partner, a mate. Cole turned and smiled at her. Ready to go home? Lyra nodded. Home. With you. They had faced many challenges together. From the dusty market cages to the halls of power, their journey had changed them both. As they prepared for their journey, a young crew member approached. Sir, everyone is asking, Who is she? Your mate? Cole chuckled. Yes, she is. The crew member nodded, impressed. She saved lives during the raid. She is a hero. Lyra blushed, but smiled. During the trip, Lyra and Cole talked about the future. Lyra wanted to learn more about Earth, about humans, and about the stars. Cole promised to teach her everything. She also wanted to help others like her. Those who are lost and forgotten. Cole agreed. We will make sure no one is too dirty to keep again. Their bond grew stronger each day, not just by words, but by trust, respect, and love. One evening, under a sky full of stars, Cole asked quietly, Lyra, will you stay by my side? Not just as my mate, but as my equal? Lyra looked into his eyes. I already am. They smiled, holding hands, knowing the road ahead would be long but worth every step. The galaxy was vast and often cruel, but they had found something rare: acceptance, kindness, and love. And that was more than enough.